This
Um,
conference will now be recorded.
okay, so this is the OCP OSF meeting, um, and we had a great, I guess, 2-day discussion session at the Open Compute Platform Summit. A lot of you were there. Google has since had a really good discussion with Isaac Orem of Intel, and I forget the other person of Intel. We had decided a few months ago that we were going to redirect this effort a little bit from being an implementation effort to being more about a deployment effort, because there's so much implementation going on sort of outside the OSF context anyway, that we felt it was our job then to get this stuff out into the world. So one of the discussions that came up at the OCP Summit was the concept of open systems firmware ready, and whether we could sort of have an OSF ready badge by, I don't know, let's just call it January 2020, I think. Isaac can stop me if I got the date wrong. And the feeling is we're 10 months too late to really get to that badging for Cooper Lake. But the follow-on platform we might be able to. So the current discussion with Intel from Google, which I wanted to get everybody, up to speed on, is the idea that by the next OCP Summit in San Jose in March of 2020, we will be able to announce the concept of OSF ready. And OSF ready means that should you buy a system that's OSF ready, you're going to be able to install your own build or some company's build of OSF on it without having to go back to the ODM and get your stuff signed or whatever. And hopefully a year after that or sometime after that, we're going to have the required badging for OCP, meaning that you're not an OCP platform unless you can demonstrate that you can deliver OSF as part of the platform. As part of that, we had a discussion with Isaac that was also really good about dealing with the ME blob and the ACM blob licensing. And the goal is that by the open source firmware conference in September, Intel will be ready to announce that the licensing on all those blobs is fixed. And then the final big thing to come out, which just kind of surprised me, is that for those doing Linux boot, I'm not talking about EDK2 now, there's this mainly Linux boot. So this is the Facebooks, and actually Amazon was there, though they couldn't talk much about their plans, but Facebook, Amazon, Google type companies of the world, the path to Linux boot would be FSP and core boot. So one of the big goals for the OCP Summit next March of 2020 is that we're going to have, a deployable by end users or third parties, not the ODM, FSP and core boot, so that people can then do Linux boot. So I'm trying to kind of catch everybody up to my understanding of where we are today. Current experience at Google, we have a Dell server node that would not by any means meet the goals of OSF ready, because you can't change one bit of the firmware image in the Dell node without having it go into a panic and rewrite your firmware for you. At the same time, we know that from Lenovo, we can buy systems that come with boot guard essentially disabled. And, our discussion revealed that Lenovo is extremely close to our goals of having an OSF ready badge by March of 2020. And that if we can get the licensing situation fixed up here by September, we're going to be able to meet that goal, that March 2020 goal. And with that kind of summary, and people can mention all the things I missed, and this is a nice document that just came up here on the shared display. If anyone can see it, it really does kind of add it up. This is kind of where we stand. So I've kind of communicated my understanding of that to Rajiv and Bill Carter and Devender. And so anyway, that's our goal. And from the Linux boot side, again, to my surprise, it does sound like FSP and core boot on server is kind of a vehicle to that. And of course, if you do that, then you pretty much enabled OpenEDK 2 for the Microsoft effort. So I came out of the summit feeling like we were in way better shape than I ever expected to be on this effort. And that is that. I'll open the floor.
Yeah, so just real quick to introduce the document. This is just initial draft thoughts, and I tried to organize, if we're going to try to get to this OSF ready badge, we need to all agree on what it is and who's doing what to get there. And so that's what this is organized as. It's purely a straw man, so feel free to throw any rocks at it that you'd like. And I'll figure out, I mean, if we like it, I'll figure out how to post it somewhere in the Google Docs like the other stuff.
I'm sure stuff will come up along the way, but yeah, I was just, I think Ron was about to say the same thing as I. This looks pretty good so far.
Yeah, this is delightful. We have, the only thing I want to be a little careful about, I don't know how much we can speak for the IBVs without having an IBV here. I did have someone come up to me at the OCP from AMI, and he was a little bit forceful about his concerns about this effort. So we may want to. I really would like to get one of the IBVs in to sort of talk to us about this, but I haven't had much luck. So I don't know, Isaac. What do you think? I mean, how would the IBVs look at that bullet? Would they be okay with it, or upset, or what?
You know, I think we need to work with them. I don't have a strong sense of where they are. I mean, I can understand reasons why they would be upset. I can understand reasons why they may be happy to help on some aspects of it.
Yeah, one interesting thing is AMI just spun off a big part of their company. So maybe this is something where, because I assume they're going to internally have concerns if they're supporting both the proprietary AMI product in addition to open system firmware. Maybe this is something where we might end up working with the portion that they just spun off as kind of like a separate entity, so that they don't have those issues internally.
Yeah, I had no idea it happened. David, what was the deal there? What did they spin off?
I just learned about it yesterday. Let me see if I can get the name of the new company.
It's basically more like the Palo Alto-based HGGC is investing in AMI, and they spun off AMI BIOS and the BMC into one group, and then remaining thing they started another small company, which is IoT-related things. So now the BMC and the BIOS actually have a different boss than before, and he's the one came to the OCP too.
It's literally a different company though, right?
That's what internally will be operating, sort of, but it's still under AMI and things. But
okay,
yeah, the leadership is changed at the top level.
Does anyone know who we could connect with there to talk about this stuff?
Actually, they were there at the time because it was decided in OCP time, sort of thing. So whoever was there is actually from the new management.
So I would say,
Shivagar, this is Devendra here. Is Sanjay is the new guy there?
Yeah, Sanjay.
Okay. So Ron,
I posted the links to the two announcements in the chat.
Okay. So my only thought on this is, I don't know if we want to have the IBV bullets in. In other words, I'm not quite sure. I worry a little that we're speaking out of turn where they might not want to have us do that. That's my comment there.
Yeah, so what I was about to say, Ron, is like Sanjay is the one who came to you probably, and he had some side conversations there at OCP. Maybe we can send a note to him. Here is what we are thinking, any feedback or something like that, so that they can give feedback on this proposal, right? I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here.
Are they a member of OCP?
Ron, I'm here, if that's what your question is.
I was wondering if AMI is a member of OCP. I guess somebody knows. Anyway, Isaac, that's my only comment, but if people feel we can leave it in as is, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I think we can remove that, and then it just moves to OEMs and ODMs to figure out the licensing, and there's an implicit IBV link in that chain.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else?
This is Jonathan. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I have a question. So on Ron's document, right, document 15, it says for March 20th, OEM ODM committed Whitney OSF ready SKU. To my understanding, Whitney is of Silver Lake SoC. Is that correct understanding? It is like with 4 memory controllers instead of 6.
Yeah, Cooper Lake and Ice Lake.
Right. So my question is, why here specifically talk about Whitney? Because there are other SKUs like 6 memory controllers, right? Some company may choose use Whitney. Other companies choose other SKUs. So my question is, why do we here limit to Whitney?
No problem. I can remove that. It wasn't meant to be particularly limiting. It was just describing a target.
I see, understood. Yeah, so if we change Whitney to Cooper Lake or Ice Lake, it might be more clear.
Well, I mean, I guess from a badge discussion point of view,
yeah,
it doesn't. We don't have to specify some sort of Intel Silicon SKU. If somebody wants to make an OSF ready thing with anything, that's fine, right?
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just March 2020 and September 2020. From Intel's perspective, that's the intersection. That's fine. That's good. I understand it.
Yeah, I think we built this with deadlines that have nothing to do with the silicon and the products, because those are very much more nebulous. We tried to line up with the OCP events and the September events. I'm not sure what those are again, Ron.
Open Source Firmware Conference, and then the Open Compute Platform. The thing that occurs to me, the thing that's nice about that is that we're making it clear that this is, in some sense, bigger than OCP, which I think is good. The bigger we make the displayed interest in this, the better, from my point of view. I mean, OCP obviously is a real driver, but it doesn't hurt to show that, there's other people who want it. Yeah, this works out really nicely.
Makes sense.
Well, I mean, there's 1,000 expressions about plans, but yes, it does look like a decent plan.
Yeah. I know. And apropos that, at the moment, or because we are getting up on April here, do you have any kind of indication that the licensing thing can be ready in September? Is that looking pretty good, do you think? Am I asking too soon?
I mean, we're making progress, but as it's partially illegal discussion. I mean, I don't, you know, trends are hard for me to predict. So we are working it. We're actively working it. On the bootguard ACM side, we need to pick up on the ME side, I believe.
Okay.
There are discussions going on, but not quite as concrete.
Okay. Well, everyone involved in this gets a magic 8-ball, I think, when we're done. All right. Anybody got anything else?
Hey, Ron, last time when we met as a group, we took some areas just for discussion, and I jotted down some notes. I just sent it to you. So do you want to flash and see where we are with different things?
Yeah, let me. Okay, where am I? Did you mail it to me?
Yeah, I did.
Yes, you did, in fact. I got it. Oh, this is great.
I think some of these things cross over, so which is good. They're kind of correlated.
You want me? Should I paste them into the chat so people can see them, or just talk to them?
Is it possible to share that, or maybe I
am meeting impaired at the moment. We've been walking around with this open meeting stuff to try and get it in it and failing miserably.
Okay, maybe I can start sharing. Can somebody give me control?
I'm going to make you.
Yeah.
All right. Devender, you're now the presenter.
Okay.
I had no idea it had so much power.
Well, I don't know that you did. I mean, I just made myself presenter before. So.
Okay, never mind.
So can you guys see what I'm sharing?
Yeah, this is great. And
Okay.
and what's really nice is we got WeWin on the call, so
yeah,
we can get it straight from them.
Sure. So yeah, the last time we talked, I think Richard Ye from Vivin said that he will follow up and he will get back to us. Eric or Richard, can you talk about the first one? So is there any progress you guys made in terms of helping the community to order one unit?
Trial.
What was that? Some AI app or what?
Yeah, some of us are now apt.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
figure out from where is it coming from. I can mute it or whatever action I need to take, but Ron,
I'm wondering if is it possibly coming from WeWin?
No, I think they said it was it from us, but it's our like phone connection or something?
I'm gonna mute.
This is Johnny from WeWin. Can you hear me?
yes, now we can.
I think maybe Jackie Lee from WeWin can answer the first question. Hi, Jackie. Can you help to answer the first question?
Yes, so I don't know whether
maybe he's also facing some computer problems.
Yeah, possible. So your local time might be way off, right? So Richard?
Right.
Yeah. So that's fine. You work through and see if you can get hold of in your local ways to do that. So, and then the second topic was
trial.
I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, then you're good. I need to ignore this.
Yeah, something sideband is annoying, but that's okay. And then the second one was we captured like Shivagar. It's too early. Probably he's still working on what can be done there in terms of build infrastructure. And then the third one, if Eileen is here, we discussed on this. What would be the proposal? It crosses along the same lines, the prior commit, like the proposal from Isaac and Ron. How do we make sure the ownership is for the platform when it transitions from one to other? So is Eileen on? If Eileen is on, she was working on, okay, she can educate the white paper, how they implemented on the power architecture. So is she on or? Uh,
I'm sending her a note telling her we're missing her.
Okay. So the other topic is Intel ask on the minimal requirements. Say, Isaac, this is what I saw. One of the bullet points in the previous proposal. You need requirements, correct?
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
we're trying to. Our chances of being able to open stuff more rapidly are easier if it's a smaller set of stuff. I mean, if we look at the totality of things that we can consider sharing, it's a lot. So if we can constrain the problem space, we'll get more progress, I believe.
Yeah. So last time when we discussed, Malik took an action item that he will crawl all these requirements and give it as a one voice from OSF to Intel, and probably is working on that. And then the last but one OSF firmware update schema proposal. So from Google, Ben from Google was already working with NIST lead and others. So if Ben is on call, he can talk about is there anything he has done.
Yeah, I don't see Ben. Yeah.
Okay. And then the last topic is people were interested in understanding the ARM boot flows, which are special. And during the OCP summit, we did meet one of the ARM representatives. He was interested in educating us on this one. And I sent a note and I'm waiting for the response. So let's see if that comes back. Maybe one of these calls he can educate us how ARM boot flow works in the initial boot up stuff. And that way it is somewhere near or close to the Intel's FSP. We need to bring in AMD as well into this game, but that's the intent here, to have all three major vendors to have the boot flows, so that whatever we are doing is coherent, right? So these were the topics. Unfortunately, many people are missing to follow up questions. The intent here is once we have some updates, we can take up each of these topics and review it here in the call, right? So that's the goal. That's all I have.
Why don't we make this? We can make this the agenda for the next meeting in 2 weeks, actually, right? These are all very important.
Yeah, that was one of the things, Ron, people asked is we before meeting here in this call, we can maintain some kind of a spreadsheet or something or a Google Doc so that it's a running agenda. Somebody's trying to speak. Yeah, that's a good point. We can make it. Shut up.
I think Jackie from Vivin, are you trying to say something?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So I'm sorry that it seems some problem happened on my laptop just a few minutes ago. Well, I think I replied to you for the first mail took on the last call that Win is working on a platform by using the to provide for OS development. So as you mentioned that might need they might need just at least one node on the compute servers. So as I would mention that like both Olympus and Europass cases, they are dedicated.
Yeah, it's hard to follow. The,
Jackie, I know you're talking and it's difficult to hear you. Maybe if you don't mind sending an email to the team or when there are running follow-up. But we cannot hear you.
Problem. I will send an email to the group later.
Yeah, I think that should work.
all right. So I hope.
I have one question for you. So if you remember earlier, can you guys hear me?
A lot of static, man. So I think so. Raju,
So,
start speaking. Yeah.
Devinder, can you hear me? Is it better now? I mean, I'm not doing anything from my side.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I
you
think
are
Jackie
not.
just had to mute himself.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the question I had was, when we started this OSF, earlier you did come up with the collaborative community development model where we had the, root of trust hardware security module at the bottom and different vendors and FSPs, Intel, and then we need to work on the silicon interface firmware module, and then the different boot options like Linux boot and hardware platform code and EDK2, and then up to the OS. Is that model still valid or?
So it is still valid. The only change uh, is we sought out to go in the direction long-term view was there will be a module which will be some kind of a thunking code which can allow both environments to interplay. Vincent put together some proposal, and I think it is too much at this point to have that kind of a common module. So what the slight change is, Ron, correct me if I'm wrong, both these work streams will go in parallel, like OpenEDK and Linux boot but the common underlying thing will be like all silicon vendors have to support both worlds. So which is FSP from Intel, and if ARM guys are doing an AMD. So there is no common module to interplay between both environments, which was a bold goal at that time, which is too much at this point in the progress, right? So that's the only change. If I have to modify the diagram which we put together initially, we just eliminate that common module. That's about it.
Okay, makes sense. Sounds good.
Uh, so that's all I have, Ron. I like your proposal. Maybe we can stick, Raju, if we can help to stick these things along with the first topic, what Isaac and Ron shared. We can have 5-6 topics lined up, and before the next call, we can ping people and say, "Hey, anybody ready to come and talk about this?" And then we can have some kind of an agenda next time.
Sure. And Devendra, if you don't mind, just forward me this email that you're flashing it. I know you forgot to add my name in the
Oh,
list.
sorry. So I
No, no,
thought you should be in this bunch. Okay, that's
No,
another thing. So we need to somehow be a little consistent on the distribution list and how people can subscribe. We need to little communicate to the like send out some kind of a communication
we
so that
have the
people can.
IO
Yeah.
already in place, the vendor. So
Okay.
there's a OSF at groups IO dot some three-letter word there, and it's for our group. So you can use that one as well.
Okay. Yeah. So that's
And
all I have,
if
guys.
the email that you're presenting right now, if you scroll down, you see from Google Calendar to the first is the
Right.
main
Right.
uh,
Right.
email that everybody should get.
So are you not part of that group? You didn't receive this email then?
So I did that one, but the one on the top of it, I think, has been.
No, it does say here OCP
Oh
group.
yeah, then my bad. Very likely have received it. I have not checked it then.
Okay. I hope everybody else received. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody would receive it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I have, guys. Ron, back to you.
Yeah, and again, these meetings don't have to consume the hour. I know we're all busy. Does anyone? So I think Isaac, your thing looks good, and go ahead and share it with the only caution on the maybe speaking for IBVs, unless we want to phrase it in terms of this is what IBVs will need to do, which I think that's a good idea. Do we want to make
Ron,
vendors? Yeah.
Ron, can you show the document again? I do have a question. Is that for the ODM for March 2020?
Let's okay. Hang on one second. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Isaac's taking control.
Yeah.
Isaac, can you take control?
Yes.
How come all these high-powered computer people can't make a working meeting?
For the March 20th group, OEM, ODM committed OSF ready SKU. So here, OSF ready SKU, is it just about boot card and binaries, or more than that, or that also include reference codes of OSF?
Yeah, I mean we can define it however we as a group want to define it, is my understanding. So today it's about the main goal is the ability for someone to modify the firmware on their system, the end owner of the system, the ability to modify that. So I think I need to make it more generic and remove the boot guard specifics. The real point is that the end user can update the firmware on their system.
Right.
And so it's whatever licensing you need to make that happen, whatever design changes. I mean, ideally, presumably, you don't want terribly complicated differences in SKUs between OSF ready and non-OSF ready or something. But yeah, so we're free to define this however. This is just the initial sort of speculation, and it is to meet that OSF ready definition of people can run OSF firmware on a system.
Okay.
So that's why there's no details on a particular firmware solution. We're not saying core boot or FSP or Linux boot at this time. We're just saying more generically, the first thing is ready for people to do open development.
Right.
And I think the word demonstrations is critical, right? This is not saying finished, right? It's saying demonstrations. And I think between now and then, we're going to find all the things we missed. Aaron Durbin had to go, but he was pointing out, he just sent me a little note, private chat to me on some of the problems we had to be careful about. He's happy to, he offered to, consult if we would like on the issues. And his one comment is, he said we want to get into the technical bits more on this stuff, which is certainly true. But I think we need a hard target in terms of a system we're going to do this on. We can't claim to solve the world's problems, or as the saying goes, boil the ocean. So I'd like the idea that we pick a common demonstrator platform for the demonstration in September 2020, and we go for it. We can't do it all at once, right? But we can show a path. Does that help, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
And yeah, this looks pretty good. All right. And then Isaac, you're going to share the document you're doing, and then let us know, I guess, when it's there, right?
Yeah, I'm presuming I can figure out Google Docs, but maybe after the meeting challenges, who knows?
there's always paper tape. Oh no, there isn't. Can't do that anymore. All right. Does any? We're gonna use Devender's other document. I think that should drive our meeting agenda for the next meeting. Does that sound reasonable? And then we'll try and get in touch with people and have them call in. I just sent a note to Elaine, but turns out she's on vacation. Does that sound reasonable?
Yep, sounds great.
So, Devender or Ron, if you don't mind sending these documents to that email that I talked about so that everybody gets it, I think that would be helpful in the short term.
When you say email, you mean the mailing list?
Yes, Isaac, yes, sorry, the mailing list.
Okay.
I already sent it, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Are there any templates or copyrights or anything OSF requires, or can I just send it?
Just send it for the time being.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. I think we're good to go, right?
Yep.
See you in 2 weeks.
All right,
Okay,
see you guys
bye.
in 2 weeks then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Hi.
You have been removed from the call. Goodbye.